So here are 10 tips for getting a job in project management. But let us first mention that you don't need to memorize these 10 tips. We have a handout that accompanies the video over at projectprep.org. So there are tons of jobs in project management, and that need is going to continue to grow. So a report was recently published that estimated that by 2027, employers are going to need to fill 88 million project management roles. All you have to do is go to Indeed.com and search project management to get an idea of just the volume of demand. One caution that we'll give you is that on average, about 118 people apply for a single job, not just project management jobs, but jobs in general. And what we want to do is to help your resume move up the stack. That's our goal, and that's what these 10 tips are all about. Okay, so here they are. Our first tip is to get certified. To be competitive for project management jobs, it's absolutely critical that you have either a PMP or a CAPM certification. A PMP is for experienced project managers, and a CAPM is if you're just starting out. If you're just starting out, go for the CAPM, obviously, and then try for the PMP in a few years. Now, as you prepare, we have a lot of free prep materials over at projectprep.org to help you out. And one other suggestion we'll make is that a great combination of certifications is a project management certification with a Lean Six Sigma certification. Those pair really well together and look good on a resume. Now, if you're interested, there's a free white belt certification course that's a Lean Six Sigma certification available through our sister organization, sixsigmasociety.org. If you take the course, you'll get the certificate at the end. Here's our second tip. Learn project management software. Many job postings are going to ask about software, and you got to know the key tools. The two most common tools are Microsoft Project and Jira. You got to know those and be able to add that or have that on your resume. So here's what you ought to do. Select a tool one weekend, download a free trial, and get a pizza and just spend that weekend to learn it. You're obviously not going to be an expert, but you can say now that you have experience with or you're familiar with that tool. Another thing that may help is we have a video on how to use Microsoft Project, and there's a cheat sheet to go along with it, available at projectprep.org. It guides you on how to create a cost and a schedule estimate using it. So here's our third tip. Become an expert job hunter. So I often hear my students say something like this. Every job seems to require 5 years of experience. What should I do? Now, there's lots of project management jobs out there. Sometimes it's just hard to find the right ones for you. And so our suggestion is go to Indeed.com and then search for project management. On the left-hand side of the page, you're going to see an experience level section. What you want to do is filter that by entry-level positions. You'll start to see all of the jobs that are for recent graduates, for new project managers. There should be a lot there that's right for you. So again, there's a lot out there. Sometimes it's just hard to find them. Another suggestion here is to read job postings regularly, even if you've been in project management for a while, because you can start to see what the demand is or how the demand is changing, what new skills are needed. And as you read those job postings, put together something like this, a Venn diagram that compares the required skills for most positions and what your skills are. There's going to be some overlap, but try to define the required skills that you don't have yet, and then spend time over the next month to start filling in those things, to obtain those skills. Here's our fourth tip. Have project managers review your resume. And there's really two reasons for this. One is that they know the field and they know what skills are needed. And two is that they see employment opportunities, sometimes ones that aren't even posted on the web. And you might be surprised. Most people are willing to help if they're asked, and it's a good way to make a mentor. Now, after they've given you feedback, make sure you thank them and ask them if they know anyone that can offer you additional advice or that's looking for an entry-level project manager. What you don't want to do is just go to them and say, hey, can you give me a job? Make sure you build a relationship with them first, help establish some trust, and then they may feel more comfortable helping refer you to someone else. Now, before you meet with project managers, get your resume reviewed by others first, non-project managers. Really what you want is to have a really polished resume before you go talk to these folks. Here's our fifth tip. Seek a job referral through networking. Referrals and networking are the best way to move your resume up the stack. And LinkedIn can help you do that. It's a great way to be able to identify a first or second connection. So a first connection is someone that you are directly connected to on LinkedIn, and a second connection is like a friend of a friend. And so to find a referral on LinkedIn, go to linkedin.com, search for the company that you're interested in, and see if you have a first or second connection there, and then ask for a referral. And you're going to say something like this. I've applied for a position at this company. I think I'd be a great fit, and here's why. Would you be willing to offer a referral for me? Again, referrals are the best way to move your resume up the stack. So here's our sixth tip: study Agile. So the truth is that Agile is here to stay. Lots of employers are demanding these skills, and you've got to develop them. Remember, Agile involves delivering projects in small increments rather than a big deliverable at the end. And having frequent deliveries helps build momentum, morale, and excitement on your project. One way to visualize it is this way. Waterfall, you're kind of delivering all at once, sort of at the end. Agile, you're breaking it up into smaller pieces. Our recommendation here is to read a book on Agile and then consider a Scrum Master certification. Ultimately, what you want to be able to say on your resume is that you're familiar with Agile project management methodologies, including Scrum. Scrum is the most common type of Agile. Okay, so here's the seventh tip. Read and write about project management. You got to read up on the subject as much as you can. One of the reasons why this is important, it gives you something to talk about in interviews. You can offer recommendations based on what you're reading. So you can read up on something and say, you know what, another company did it this way and it was pretty successful. Maybe it's something you could use here. It shows that you could add value and that you know what you're talking about. And as you read, just a couple of tips. Make sure you use reputable sources, obviously, and maybe consider exploring PMI's thought leadership site. There's a lot of good reports there. In addition to studying project management itself, you want to study your domain too. So for me, it's data analytics. I was managing data analytics projects, and so I studied project management in addition to data analytics. Now remember, on average, about 118 people apply for a single job. Now, in addition to reading, writing articles are a way for you to grab attention. You can write an article and post it or add it to your resume. Now, doing something like this is common in the IT world. Programmers often submit their code as a way to grab attention and to show that they know what they're talking about. You could consider guest blogging about project management. You don't have to be an expert on project management. You could just read up on a topic and write an article about it. There's lots of blogs out there that are hungry for content. An example is you could summarize a project management book or something like that, or you could share your own experience on project management. And then what you can do is link to it in your resume. Again, you're building up that resume, finding ways to move your resume up the stack. So here's the eighth tip: master your elevator pitch. So the truth is that resumes and referrals get you an interview, but interviews get you the job. You got to have a good interview. And what's important as you prep for that is to make sure that you can quickly explain why you're the best fit for the job in 30 seconds. It's got to be brief. Imagine that you're going up the elevator and you got to explain to someone why they should hire you in that short amount of time. Now, after you write that pitch, practice it out loud, practice it with a friend, and ensure it's clear, crisp, and impactful. Okay, so keep revising that and improving that in preparation for your interviews. Here's the ninth tip: consider a contract position. So these positions are harder to fill just because they're temporary, obviously, and so they're willing to take more chances with those who they hire. And the truth is that contract jobs often lead to full-time jobs, and it gives you lots of experience. You can go from one project to another and to another in a pretty short period of time. You can build your experience fast. And so I wouldn't be too scared of contract opportunities, especially if you're having trouble finding a full-time one. So the way to find a contract opportunity on Indeed is to search for project management, and under the job type, filter by contract. Here's our 10th tip: exercise, eat healthy, and get enough sleep. So searching for a job can be pretty stressful. You need to make sure that you take time to recharge. The way I like to think about it is that Superman wasn't super all the time. He spent time as Clark Kent. At least for me, I think of it as recovering from all his adventures. So make sure you're exercising on a regular basis, eating right, maybe consider cutting back on hamburgers and eating more salads, and getting enough sleep. So here's a review of our 10 tips, our secret recipe as we call it. Get a PMP or CAPM certification, learn to use project management software, become an expert job hunter, ask project managers to review your resume, and seek a job referral from inside the company. It's the most important one. Study Agile project management, read and write articles about project management, master your elevator pitch, consider a temporary contract position, and exercise, get enough sleep, and eat healthy. Now remember, you don't have to memorize these 10 tips. We have a handout available at projectprep.org. Feel free to print it out, take it with you, share with friends.